The scoreboard told a familiar early season story, Barcelona trailing and searching for answers, and Levante celebrating a momentary advantage that threatened to unsettle the locker room. But by the final whistle, it was a different headline altogether. A 3-2 victory built from resilience, a half-time reset, and a decisive contribution from Ferran Torres, the forward who began to stake his claim for a regular place. When the whistle blew for the second half, something shifted. Hansi Flick's intervention at half-time was not a motivational cliché, it was concrete, tactical, a recalibration of positions and priorities that removed hesitation and replaced it with purpose. Players who had looked misplaced in the first 45 minutes suddenly found better angles, the press became more coordinated, and Barcelona attacked with a clarity that had been absent earlier. Torres, starting for the second match running, was at the centre of that change. He had already felt the sting of missed opportunity in the first half, a moment he later admitted could have been placed with better judgment, but instead of shrinking, he sharpened. The equaliser he produced carried the weight of confidence and timing rather than mere fortune. A movement that opened space, a finish that punished indecision, and a composure that suggested he views this club not as a temporary stage, but as a place where he belongs. His words after the game were as direct as his goal. He sees himself as a starter, and he intends to make selection decisions harder for everyone else. That declaration is not bravado. It is the natural consequence of back-to-back contributions and a manager willing to tinker and trust. Flick's half-time tweaks were the match's fulcrum. He noticed the team's shape was loose, the defensive coverage uneven, the transitions sloppy, and he nudged personnel and positioning to close the gaps. The result was immediate momentum, a restored identity in attack, and the psychological lift that accompanies tactical clarity. But tactics only set the stage. Players must deliver, and Torres did. He wasn't alone. Teammates made the blocking runs, and one crucial intervention created the second goal opportunity that Torres finished clinically, and the replay showed the fine margins and the collaborative effort required to prize 3 points from a stubborn opponent. This sequence does more than craft a comeback highlight reel. It forces coaches, rivals, and fans to rethink rotation and roles. With competition for places intense at Barcelona, every convincing performance becomes a statement. A forward who can start 2 matches in a row, convert when called upon, and publicly claim readiness is a variable that changes selection math. Managers will weigh form and chemistry. Opponents will plan for another player who arrives at the edge of the box with confidence, and the dressing room will feel the pressure and promise of fresh internal competition. Beyond the immediate optics, this game is an early season indicator of how Flick might shape his attack. Flexible, adaptive, and willing to reward players who seize moments. It is also a reminder that leadership can appear in many forms, from the coach who alters the plan at the break to the player who responds by taking responsibility on the pitch. For Ferran Torres, the night will be remembered as a turning point, not because a single goal changes a career, but because it crystallizes momentum and expectation. For Barcelona, the comeback matters because it preserves the idea that setbacks can be temporary if addressed swiftly and intelligently. Now the spotlight turns to Flick's decisions. Will they build a consistent run with Torres in the starting 11, or will rotation and tactical nuance keep him as one of several weapons? The answer will unfold in the next fixtures, but after this victory the message is hard to ignore. A half-time adjustment and a forward's insistence combine to produce a result, and the choices made from here on will shape the tone of Barcelona's campaign.